In this tutorial, we shall learn how to create a table in a database in SQL Server. And we shall learn the two methods of creating the table, one by using a query and one by using the wizard, okay, by the UI. So let's flip over to Visual, this SQL Server Management Studio, and let me connect with the Windows authentication with the server name as the default desktop name. And so the database is now connected. I have got after expansion of the databases node, I have got this MyDB on which I intend to work. So if I highlight this and click on the new query window, it comes up with a query window. For the timing, I will park that. When I come back to the how to make the query to create the table, that time it will be used. But for the time being, to start with, let's do right click and then the table node, new, and then table. So I will give the name of the table later, but first column is normally the ID. So I'm going to create a product table. So product ID, that's the primary key, unique key, and data type is, that is always the integer. Let's look for int. So because it is primary key, how do I set the primary key? Set primary key, okay. And I'm not, because it is a primary key, it cannot allow null. And here if you come, so here is the identity specification, is identity, so I will set it as yes, okay. And identity increment 1 and seed 1, that means the first ID will be starting with 1 and every time the ID will be incremented by 1. That's the meaning of seed and increment, right. So next column could be product name, product ID, product name, and it could be a data type varchar, variable character varchar, you can just make it 20, you can customize, okay, you can write 20 and allow nulls, no, because product name should be there, I guess. And then finally description, another field. So description can also be varchar, a string, variable character, in fact varchar 50, or you can better, because description could be a bit longer, you could make it 100, right. And you can allow nulls. Now that's one way, and if you now click on save, it will ask you for the table name. So I can give this table name products, all capital, okay, and click on OK, and then see dbo.products, it's already there. And if you click expand the node, you will see all the columns, product ID, product name, and description. All right, now let me delete this products table and create it through a SQL query. So I will just delete it. So you can see that product table is no more. All right, let's create the product table by writing a query. So I will open another query in window, and here I can, as I guess you might have followed my earlier 4 lectures. So here on this drop down list are all the listed databases on this server, okay. So MyDB is already there. So I know that I am working with MyDB database, that is this one. However, if you want to take no risk, so you can always use MyDB. This statement, use MyDB, and then automatically it will be switched over to this MyDB context whatever be the selected database. Even if you select any other database in Northwind, it will still be using the MyDB database. All right, so let's write all in capital. Although I have said that you can easily use mixed casing without any differentiation. So create table products, and then a pair of, here is a circular brace, starting and end circular brace, and all the query will be inside. So this will be a product ID, product. Okay, let me make it all capital. Okay, I'll make a caps lock. So product ID, this will be an int identity. This is the identity keyword, and one for seed, one for increment. You can start the seed from 2, 3 for any number, and you can increment by steps of 2, 3 or whatever you can think, but by convention it is 1, 1. All right, so next field could be product name. So product name, and this is also a varchar. This is a varchar, like we did in the when you design the table through the wizard or the UI. And I will keep this not null like before. There has to be a product name if there is a product ID, and then finally the description. Now, why that I am following this square brackets and writing all the fields within square bracket is because sometimes we tend to use the keywords, like name is a keyword. So if I wish to keep name without this pair of angular braces or square braces, it will be confused by the SQL Server as being a keyword. But if I keep the name within the pair of angular or rather rectangular braces, then this will be taken as a field or column. So similarly, following the same convention, this is the description field. Description. Okay. Description. Okay. And then varchar again. This time higher size, say 100, like we took last time. And this field can be null. So by default, if you don't mention not null, it will be taken as nullable field. Okay. That's all. And if you click on execute, should be all right. Commands completed successfully. And if you right click and then refresh, you will see the product table again appearing with the columns. All right. And okay, identity. Now, next is, let's revise the syntax again, query syntax. So create table means use database name first on top, like use MyDB, then create table name, and within a pair of circular braces, PK means primary key, column name, and then data type, identity, MN, where M stands for the seed and N stands for increment, and then column name 2, data type with size and whether null or not null. So you don't need to write. If it is nullable field, you can leave it as it is. Don't write anything. But if it is not null, you have to specifically mention it non-null. And then column name 3 with the data type, I missed here size. It should be, there will be a size like this, and then null or not null. Similarly, there could be many other columns. All right.